Cape Cod Broadcasting weaves the listening environments of 99.9 WQRC, Ocean 104.7, WFCC Classical 107.5, Cape Country 104, and CapeCon.com's website experience to reflect the lifestyles of the people who live, work, and play on Cape Cod. We hope that you enjoy this podcast.
I'm Laura Reckford, and this is Sunday Journal. We are focused on politics with the general election coming up on November 4th. We're talking to candidates in locally contested races. We have a contested race in the 5th Barnstable District. The district covers all of the town of Sandwich, plus precincts in the towns of Bourne, Plymouth, and Barnstable. The incumbent representing the district is Randy Hunt, who is a Republican, and he is being challenged by Matthew Terry, who is a Democrat. Randy Hunt, welcome to the show.
Good morning, Laura. It's good to be with you.
Let's start with you introducing yourself to voters for those who do not know you.
I am Randy Hunt. I'm running for a third term as state representative, and I served for 6 years prior to winning this seat in 2010 on the Sandwich Board of Selectmen, and also served 3 years prior to that on the Sandwich Finance Committee. And the issues that I've been working on heavily in the last 2 terms are the biggest one, clearly, and the one that most people associate me with is the addiction issues that we have with opiate drugs and alcoholism. And I've been proud to be part of a number of committees that work on this issue. There is a Barnstable County Regional Committee, Council on Drug Addiction. I am a member of the Mental Health and Substance Abuse Joint Committee in the State House, also a member of the Interagency Council on Substance Abuse and Prevention, and a member of the Criminal Justice Commission, all of whom are dealing with this issue in a big way.
So you just kind of went into my second and third question about your accomplishments and what you're proud of. I know you've been very involved in that opiate abuse issue. Why do you want to continue to hold the seat, to continue to serve? Any unfinished business for you? There
is unfinished business. One of the bills that I got passed in the past year was called the Assist Act, and I would refer anybody to my website to take a look at information about the Assist Act, plus on the front page of my website, which is randyhunt2014.com, is a video of me talking about this issue. So you can find out a lot more at that website. The Assist Act was to set up a commission to take a look at the state's midterm to long-term changes that it needs to make to deal with nonviolent offenders in the court system who have substance addiction issues. The Barnstable County Correctional Facility, and this is not unique to them at all, have approximately 80% of the people that are sent to them who have drug and alcohol abuse issues. And one of the things that I've been working very hard on is trying to come up with a way that we can get people into long-term treatment, put families back together, get people more productive, because there are a huge number of lost hours in the workplace because of these addictions, and get people into a position where they can be on the making side of the ledger instead of the taking side of the ledger. And one way that we do not accomplish that is by incarcerating individuals who have committed nonviolent crimes like breaking and entering and things that are actually fueled by their addiction rather than, in fact, I'll put an aside right here. Apparently 90%, this is according to the DA's figures, about 90% of these cases that hit the courts are related to alcohol and drug addiction. So it's a huge issue. A lot of people think that we can solve the problem by cutting off the supply. I argue that as long as there's demand for these drugs, there will be a supply. I have not ever had a constituent call me up and say, hey, Rep. Hunt, I can't find any heroin in the district. It's there because people demand it, and I think that we need to switch course away from the war on drugs and get real about putting people into long-term recovery, because if there's no demand for these illicit drugs, the supply chain will dry up.
a huge issue in this region. Now, other than the opiate abuse issue, what do you feel are some of the other biggest issues in the district looking forward that you could help with?
Well, there's no question that at the top of the pyramid, we have a wastewater issue that we need to resolve, and I'm proud to have been part of a vote for $3 million+ for the Cape Cod Commission to do a 204 study to come up with some of the identification of the different types of problems that we have on Cape Cod. I've always taken the approach that we need to get the science right before we decide on what the engineering solution should be, before we decide on how much money we're going to spend on it. And the reason I say that is if you just put $8 billion out there and tried for a one-size-fits-all solution, we'll spend the $8 billion inefficiently, and it will cost all of our residents on Cape Cod a huge amount of money, as much as $30,000 assessment per property here on Cape Cod. So we need to get the science right, figure out where the hot spots are. I think we've done a pretty good job of that. The engineering is coming along, and we're coming up with different solutions for different places. And then when we have that in place, we can come up with some creative ideas for how we're going to be able to finance the issue. That leads right into the issue of jobs on Cape Cod and the fact that a lot of young people just can't find jobs that are of the type that will support a young family, including my own kids could not live here unless they inherited a home or had some sort of other advantage on that. But I have to say that those efforts, which I absolutely support, are really part of a statewide problem in that Massachusetts has been rated in some cases as high as 25 for the best place to set up a business, and as low as 49 to set up business. So these various surveys of CEOs and other businesses clearly point to an issue that we need to deal with. The Forbes survey said that we're number 1 in quality of living. Fantastic. Number 49 in cost of living. Not so fantastic. It costs a lot to live in a paradise, but we need to do some things about that, including some measures that we've taken towards some of the most expensive things that we deal with, which is housing and health care.
I'm Laura Reckford, and this is Sunday Journal. I'm talking with Randy Hunt, state representative in the 5th Barnstable District, who is running for re-election and is being challenged for his seat this year. We've been talking about different issues on the Cape. You've touched on several of them. What about the issue of affordable housing and the lack of that on the Cape? Is there anything you can do if you are re-elected and continue as state rep on the issue of affordable housing?
Affordable housing essentially comes down to the types of jobs that we have here on Cape Cod. Yes, the tourism industry is the biggest industry we have on Cape Cod. It's the 3rd largest industry in the Commonwealth. But I believe that the problem that we have is the inability to attract businesses that would provide for the jobs that would make the housing more affordable. In other words, it's actually hitting this problem at the other side. Obviously, we have strengths in oceanography. We have strengths in medical. I think that we are a great place for an intellectual property business to set up because it's such a fantastic place to live, and the only thing that you need as that type of business is a great pipeline to the Internet. We have a great pipeline to the Internet now that we've had that structure built out. So I think that we need to focus very closely on those types of industries that can thrive here on Cape Cod and provide much better paying jobs. The fact of the matter is it's cheaper to buy a house here on Cape Cod than it is in the Boston area and Metro West. So it's the jobs that we need to solve the problem on the other side of affordable housing. At the same time, continuing with the 40B laws and making sure that we have affordable housing available is something that I absolutely support. But the long-range solution for that is to have a better set of jobs for middle income people.
Another issue we hear over and over again, and certainly affects your district very heavily, traffic on the Cape. And is there anything you could do as a state rep to help with that? The issue of the third bridge, the traffic around the bridge areas. Any comments on that?
The Mass DOT is going to be having some forums around this area this fall to talk about this third bridge. I haven't made up my mind about whether that's the best idea, but I will say this, trying to think out of the box just a little bit. The third bridge concept that's in play right now assumes that the old Sagamore Bridge stays in place. And that's because the Army Corps of Engineers, in other words, the feds, pay for that maintenance and eventually will pay for the replacement of that bridge. I would conjecture that we might be better off let's put it this way. If the state owned the Sagamore Bridge, the solution would be to build a new replacement bridge with 3 lanes on and 3 lanes off and a breakdown lane and all of the bicycle and pedestrian amenities that you would want with a brand new bridge. But because we're boxing ourselves out by saying, well, we can't touch the Sagamore Bridge, we end up with a half solution. I have actually offered to the Secretary of Transportation an idea that we should talk to the feds and see if we could get an amount of money paid to us that would be equivalent in today's dollars to deal with all the maintenance and replacement of the Sagamore Bridge, then take the money that we're looking at for this new bridge, combine it with that, and build a brand new bridge.
Well, we've covered several different issues in the minute and a half or so we have left. Any last thoughts to leave with the voters?
Yes, I would absolutely point out that out of the 200 legislators that we have on Beacon Hill, we have 2 CPAs, certified public accountants. I'm one of them. I'm the only one that has an active practice, and that keeps me very close to people as well as small businesses. And my pitch to you would be, we need more people like me with the financial acumen to help answer the tough questions. You can find out a lot more about me if you go to my website, which is randyhunt2014.com. We have a phone number that we pick up personally. It's 508-833-4868. 4868 spells hunt, by the way, so 833-HUNT. And we're out there all the time. My email address is randy@electrandyhunt.com. I'm on Facebook. You can find me anywhere. I'm on Twitter. So I am happy to take questions and start a conversation with anybody who's interested in finding out about what I'm doing, what the issues are coming up, and it would be my pleasure to speak with you about it.
And unfortunately, we're out of time. I've been talking to Randy Hunt, state representative in the 5th Barnstable District, who is running for re-election and is being challenged for the seat this year. We're talking to all the candidates in local contested races this fall. To listen to all the interviews, you can go to capecod.com, our website, and click on the election banner at the top of the page. Thank you, Randy, for being here today.
Thank you, Laura.
I'm Laura Reckford, and this is Sunday Journal.
Cape Cod Broadcasting weaves the listening environments of 99.9 WQRC, Ocean 104.7, WFCC Classical 107.5, Cape Country 104, and CapeCon.com's website experience to reflect the lifestyles of the people who live, work, and play on Cape Cod. We hope that you enjoy this podcast.